Most travel maps will only show you sun-drenched beaches or cities that never sleep. But there is another Vietnam, where the boundary between reality and myth is as thin as a breath. This journey does not begin with a map. It begins as a flow. From rare droplets of water squeezed from the cracks of Katia rocks on arid highlands, transforming into wild waterfalls hidden deep in the jungle. Water flows into the earth, constructing great underground kingdoms of caves. Then rises again to become mother rivers, generous and heavy with silt and memories. And finally, it all merges into the greatness of the eternal ocean, where the fingerprints of creation appear clearer than ever. You stand there and realize, we are not here to conquer any peaks. We come to learn how to be small, to dissolve into the flow of time, and to listen to the echoes of Mother Earth. This is the northernmost pole of the fatherland, a frontier land dominated by rugged limestone mountains. Ha Giang is a land of vertical cliffs piercing the sky and breathtaking hairpin turns that seem to test human faith. You are standing on the Dong Van Karst Plateau, a UNESCO Global Geopark. The sharp Katia rocks here carry the secrets of the Earth's crust from over 500 million years ago, when this place was still a vast ocean. But the most miraculous thing is not the stone, but the life sprouting from the stone. The Hmong, Dao, and Lolo people here do not fight the stone, they live with it. They carry baskets of soil from the valley up, stuffing it into every small rock crevice to plant resilient corn seeds. They build stone fences around their houses to block the cold border winds. Standing on the peak of Ma Pi Leng Pass, one of the 4 great passes of Vietnam, looking down at the No Quay River, green as a strip of jade silk splitting the mountain in two, we see how small humans are. But also here, humans are greater than all. The Happiness Road, nearly 200 kilometers long, which we are traveling on, was made by the hands and blood of tens of thousands of youth volunteers over 6 long years, chipping away every centimeter of rock with human strength. And when you come to Ha Giang, let your taste buds be awakened by a bowl of ao tao porridge, slightly bitter but sweet in the aftertaste, a dish that dispels colds and relaxes muscles typical of the highlands. Or sip a cup of corn wine fermented with leaves, eaten with a hot bowl of thang ko in the misty Dong Van market. Ha Giang is not just a tourist destination, it is a profound lesson in resilience and the extraordinary adaptability of humans. From high mountains, we drift towards the ocean. Ha Long Bay appears as a surreal maze of stone and water. Thousands of islands, large and small, rise from the Emerald Sea, creating a vivid ink wash painting. The name Ha Long means descending dragon. Legend has it that to stop invaders from the north, the mother dragon and child dragons spat out jewels which, upon touching the sea, turned into thousands of stone islands, creating a solid wall to protect the country. Geologically, this is the result of a tectonic process, karst, lasting over 500 million years under the impact of a humid tropical climate. With over 1,600 islands and caves, Ha Long is a mysterious ecosystem. Don't just look at Ha Long from the deck of luxury five-star cruise ships. Sit on a small bamboo boat. Let local fishermen row you into low caves where stalactites are still quietly dripping water, ticking away time. Visit Sung Sot Cave to see the grandeur of nature, or stop by floating fishing villages like Kua Van Vung Vieng. Here, life is tied to the rhythm of the tides. Children in fishing villages know how to swim and row before they know how to read. Their houses float with the water, leaning against solid limestone cliffs. Ha Long cuisine is the essence of the sea, most famous for hand-pounded squid cakes, cha muk. Fresh pieces of squid pounded by hand until sticky, fried to a golden brown, crunchy and sweet when eaten. Ha Long is not only a World Natural Heritage Site, it is a living museum of geological history and the maritime culture of the Vietnamese people. Morning in Hanoi does not start with electronic alarm clocks. It originates from the sounds of life stirring in deep, narrow alleys. Hanoi, the capital lying on the banks of the Red River, heavy with red silt, is an ancient entity, yet full of allure. Since King Li Tai to move the capital here in the autumn of 1010, this land has witnessed countless changes of dynasties, of bombs, and of rebirth. Here, history does not lie cold in museums. It lies right under your heels in every brick of the 36 streets. Look at Train Street. This is one of the strangest residential areas in the world, a challenge to all modern urban planning, where giant trains glide past residents' porches by mere inches, carrying the smell of engine oil and the screech of steel against old tracks. It is a breathtaking coexistence, a chaotic symphony between daily life and tens of tons of steel. But Hanoi is also a story of refined cuisine. You cannot understand Hanoi if you haven't sat down on a low plastic stool on the sidewalk, inhaling the scent of pho broth simmered from beef bones for 8 hours, fragrant with cinnamon, star anise, and cardamom. Or try bun cha with charcoal grilled meat, a dish that once seduced heads of state. And when the afternoon falls, Hanoians seek tranquility beside a cup of egg coffee, a wonderful creation from a time of milk scarcity, where the bitterness of Robusta blends with the creamy richness of whipped egg yolks, creating a layer of foam as golden as honey. Hanoians move fast on the road, weaving through traffic like a loom, yet they can spend hours just watching each drop of coffee fall to the bottom of the glass. That is the Hanoi essence. A proud silence lying right in the eye of the storm of development. Located at an altitude of 1,600 meters above sea level, Sapa was once the summer capital of the French in the early 20th century. Ancient villas hidden in the mist create a beauty that is both nostalgic and mysterious. But the true soul of Sapa does not lie in luxury hotels. It lies deep in the Muong Hua Valley. Fansipan Peak stands tall here as the roof of Indochina. At 3,143 meters, this is where Earth meets sky, where you can touch clouds that have floated for 1,000 years. But if you look down at the foot of the mountain, you will see a giant sculpture greater than any architectural work. The terraced fields. Carved into the mountainside over hundreds of years by the hands of the Hmong and Dao people, these terraces shine golden in autumn, looking like giant piano keys of nature playing the song of the harvest. Culture in Sapa is a multicolored painting. You will encounter red Dao women with brilliant headdresses, or black Hmong women with hands stained with indigo, the eternal black-blue color of plants and patience. Visit the love markets, where the sound of leaf flutes calls out to lovers in the cold, misty night. Sapa cuisine is a combination of forest flavors and temperate climate. Do not leave without tasting salmon hot pot, sturgeon raised right in the cold streams at the foot of Silver Waterfall. The fish meat is firm and sweet, eaten with endemic wild vegetables that only grow in the frost. Sapa is where clouds and earth intersect, a silence capable of purifying all worries, bringing humans back to their most primal self. Leaving the noisy city, the journey takes us to Ninh Binh, a land dubbed Halong Bay on land. Here, heaven and earth are woven not only by stone and water, but also by the heroic history of the nation. More than 1,000 years ago, in the 10th century, this was the capital Hoa Lu of Dai Co Viet. King Din Tien Huang relied on the rugged terrain of overlapping limestone mountains to build the citadel, protecting the young independents against northern forces. Mossy temples worshipping King Din and King Li still stand there, silent under the shadow of the mountains, telling the story of emperors who once wore royal robes and held precious swords to guard the mountains and rivers. On the Ngo Dong River, winding through Tam Kok or the Trang An Scenic Complex, you will encounter the image of boatmen with a unique skill, rowing with their feet. It is a dance of labor, a miraculous adaptation that allows their hands to rest, letting their souls freely merge with the clouds and sky. As the boat gently drifts past ripe golden rice fields on both banks, passing through dark water caves and then bursting into sunlight, it feels like we are passing through lifetimes. Regarding cuisine, Ninh Binh is famous for mountain goat meat, firm and low in fat because the goats graze naturally on cliffs, eaten with medicinal leaves. And one cannot miss the crispy scorched rice, khom chai, dipped in a rich kidney and heart sauce. Amidst the quiet space, with only the sound of oars striking the water and the wind whispering through the cliffs, Ninh Binh brings us to a meditative state, washing away all the dust of the mortal world. Crossing the Ngang Pass, our journey touches the narrow, elongated strip of central Vietnam. This is the country's spine, bearing the weight of both the north and the south. And the heart of this land is Hue, a place where time seems to stand still amidst the white veil of rain and the solemnity of moss-covered citadels. It is often said that one comes to Hue to feel sadness. But this is not a tragic sorrow. It is a moment for the soul to settle. Hue does not welcome you with the hustle and bustle of modern metropolises. It welcomes you with a specialty of melancholy, the rain of Hue. Weeks of relentless rain have shaped the character of the people here, pensive, profound, and slow living. In Hue, the rhythm of life is not measured in hurried seconds, but by the rhythm of rain falling on the imperial palace tiles and the reverberation of the Thien Mu pagoda bell drifting across the calm, perfume river. In that curtain of rain, the ancient capital emerges like an ink-wash painting, half reality, half dream. The rain deepens the green of the moss, highlighting the traces of time on the fortress walls. It is the majestic silence of history. Hue was the capital of Vietnam's final feudal dynasty, the Nguyen dynasty. Spanning 143 years under 13 emperors, from Gia Long to Bao Dai, Hue was not only the center of political power, but also the pinnacle of poetry, music, painting, and architecture. The imperial city was built blending Western Vauban architecture with the Eastern principles of feng shui, creating a structure that is imposing yet in perfect harmony with nature. Stepping through the Meridian Gate, Ngo Mon, is stepping into another world. The Hall of Supreme Harmony, Thai Hoa Palace, where grand court sessions were held, still houses the Golden Throne, a silent witness to the rise and fall of the nation. Every carving, every poem on the wooden walls, every ceramic shard forming the dragon and phoenix tells a story of the desire for peace and the eternity of royal power. But history is not just about glory. The crumbling walls within the forbidden Purple City, the empty spaces where magnificent palaces once stood before being ravaged by war, are the scars of time that Hue still bears. The people of Hue cherish even this decay, for it is a witness to history. The ancients believed, life is a sojourn, death is the return. Thus, the Nguyen emperors built their eternal homes while they were still alive. If the Tomb of Tu Duc is a melancholic poem, where the king sought solace from the pain of a lost nation amidst romantic nature, then the Tomb of Khai Dinh is architectural rebellion, a bold fusion of East and West, of concrete and steel, and the pinnacle of porcelain mosaic art. Each tomb is a personality, a philosophy of life, reflecting the very soul of the monarch who rests there. Hue is not only the land of kings, but also the land of Buddha. The density of pagodas here is so high that Hue is likened to a giant monastery, and the most sacred symbol is the Thien Mu pagoda. The sound of the Thien Mu bell is not merely to mark the time, it is a call to awaken the conscience and dispel sorrow. Buddhism has permeated the lifestyle of the ancient capital, creating a gentle, compassionate way of life, and notably, one of the most diverse vegetarian cuisines in Vietnam. Eating vegetarian in Hue is not about austerity, it is about enjoying the purity of heaven and earth. When night falls, the perfume river becomes a stage for the sounds of nostalgia. Hue culture is a convergence of elites. You will hear the Hue Royal Court music, Nha Nyak, a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity. This solemn, elaborate music once reserved only for royalty during rituals, now echoes in the moonlit nights, taking travelers back in time. Alongside the scholarly court music is the Hue folk singing on the river, a fusion of royal melodies and folk tunes. In the quiet space of the river, the sweet, mournful voice of the artist rises like a confidence shared by a land that has seen too many changes. It would be a great omission to speak of Hue without mentioning its cuisine, the greatest pride of the ancient capital. The people of Hue believe eating is to enjoy beauty with all five senses. Hue dishes, whether royal delicacies or rustic street food, all adhere to the balance of yin and yang and the five flavors. Let's start with bun bo hue, Hue beef noodle soup. It is no coincidence that the late chef Anthony Bourdain once called this the greatest soup in the world. An authentic bowl must have the pungent aroma of lemongrass, the distinct bold flavor of fermented shrimp paste, and the tongue-numbing heat of chili satay. That spiciness is not just to stimulate the taste buds, but is how the people of Hue combat the bone-chilling cold of the long rainy days. Contrasting the complexity of bun bo is the simplicity of com hen, baby clam rice. From the tiny clams of the Perfume River, the poor created a dish that converges all the flavors of life: sour, spicy, salty, sweet, nutty, and bitter. Where food is elevated to art, dishes like the Phoenix Pate are meticulously carved and presented like paintings. The people of Hue eat with their eyes before their mouths. Whether it's a tiny water fern cake, ban bao, or a royal banquet, it all demonstrates the sophistication, frugality, and hospitality of the people of this land. But the greatest heritage of Hue is not its temples or tombs. It is the people of Hue. The women of Hue, in their flowing purple ao dye, with voices as sweet as honey, always preserve traditional virtues. The people of Hue live with history, breathe with heritage. They guard their family traditions and ancestral altars as treasures. In a rapidly changing world, Hue has chosen its own path, slow, steadfast, and profound. Leaving Hue, you will take with you more than just beautiful photos. You will carry a silence in your soul. Hue teaches us that sometimes we must slow down to feel life more deeply. Hue Imperial City, the quietude of history. A place where past and present merge, where sadness becomes beauty, and where every step touches the sacred soul of the rivers and mountains. See you in Hue on a rainy day. Leaving the solemnity of the mausoleums, we head up to the north-central region to step into a realm that is real, yet feels like a dream. Quang Binh, the land dubbed the Kingdom of Caves, where nature has silently created masterpieces underground for hundreds of millions of years. Phong Nha, Ke Bang National Park, is the keeper of the Earth's crust's most ancient secrets. This is the oldest tropical limestone mountain area in Asia, formed over 400 million years ago. But not only stone, this place also bears the marks of the heroic history of the legendary Ho Chi Minh Trail, where bombs once plowed the earth, now embraced and healed by the deep green jungle. In that solemn darkness, you are standing before Son Doong, the world's largest natural cave. It is so massive it could fit a 40-story building or a Boeing 747 inside. Inside the cave is not just rock, but a separate world. There are fast-flowing underground rivers, tropical forests growing right inside the cave, dolines/sinkholes, and even its own weather system and clouds. Here, time is measured by the patience of water. Each drop of mineral-laden water painstakingly falls over millions of years to sculpt magnificent stalactites of myriad shapes like crystal palaces. Standing in this infinite space, humans suddenly become small before the eternity of geology. Phong Na. Kebang is a reminder that nature is the greatest artist, and our duty is to protect that masterpiece for generations to come. Leaving the quiet interludes, the journey takes us to the colorful symphony of the central region, the duo of Da Nang and Hoi An. Only less than 30 kilometers apart, these are two opposing worlds reflecting into the East Sea. Da Nang appears as a symbol of a new Vietnam, young, dynamic, and aspirational. The city of record-breaking bridges, from the fire-breathing Dragon Bridge, the swinging Han River Bridge to the Golden Bridge suspended amidst the clouds on Ba Na Peak. Mai Kea Beach, with its smooth white sand stretching out, was once voted by Forbes magazine as one of the most attractive beaches on the planet. Da Nang is proof of a strong rise from the ashes of war to become one of the most livable cities in the region. However, just drifting a little to the south, we get lost in another timeline at Hoi An. Once the bustling FIFO trading port of Southeast Asia in the 16th, 17th centuries, where Japanese, Chinese, and Portuguese merchant ships bustled in and out. Hoi An was fortunate not to be destroyed by war, keeping more than 1,000 architectural relics almost intact. Ancient houses in turmeric yellow, moss-covered yin-yang tile roofs, and the unique Japanese covered bridge are proof of wonderful cultural interference. When night falls, Hoi An has no glaring neon lights, only the shimmering light of thousands of lanterns and flower garlands drifting on the Huai River. Regarding cuisine, taste chow lau, a special noodle dish where the noodles must be processed with ash water from Cham Islands and water from the 1,000-year-old Ba Le well, or the world-famous Ban Mi Phuong. Da Nang and Hoi An, one side is the modern beat, the other is the breath of nostalgia, creating a complete picture of Vietnamese culture. If Hanoi is an ancient poem full of contemplation, then Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon, is an improvised jazz track, vibrant and full of variations. Over 300 years ago, this was just a desolate swamp. Migrants opening up the land turned this place into the bustling Ben Ngi trading port, and later the Pearl of the Far East. Today, it is the economic locomotive, the largest city in Vietnam with nearly 10 million people. Here, history and modernity are not separated but interwoven. You can see the central post office and the opera house, with ancient French architecture standing proudly next to skyscrapers of glass and steel reflecting the clouds and sky. But the true soul of Saigon lies not on the boulevards, It lies in the hem alleys. Small alleys crisscrossing like capillaries, containing a separate world. In the alley, the city noise seems to stop at the door, giving way to the hawking cries of street vendors, the clicking of sidewalk barbershops. And Saigon cuisine is absolute tolerance. The iconic dish here is broken rice, com tam. Starting as a dish for poor laborers utilizing broken rice grains, now Saigon broken rice with fragrant charcoal grilled ribs, shredded pork skin, and egg meatloaf has become a culinary pride. Don't forget to try a glass of iced milk coffee, café suada, in the morning. That black, sweet, and cool energy that helps this city operate ceaselessly. Saigonese are generous, straightforward, and hold no grudges. This is the promised land, where people from all over the country flock to find opportunities. This city never sleeps, and it seems it never refuses anyone. Continuing to the south-central coast, the sea and sky open up immensely at Nha Trang. In the minds of tourists, this is a resort paradise with luxurious resorts. But beneath those emerald green waves are deep layers of culture and history known to few. Nha Trang possesses one of the 29 most beautiful bays in the world, but it is also the sacred land of the ancient Cham people. On the top of Kulao Hill, the Ponagar Tower complex has stood tall since the 8th century. The red-baked brick towers, built with a mysterious technique requiring no binder, are where the goddess Po Ina Naga is worshipped, the mother of the land who taught the people to plough and weave. Despite more than 200 years of rain and sun, the tower still majestically looks out to the estuary, witnessing the prosperity and decline of the ancient Champa kingdom. Nha Trang is also the cradle of Vietnamese oceanography. The Institute of Oceanography, built by the French in 1923, still remains, preserving tens of thousands of specimens of the ocean. Nha Trang cuisine is a chorus of the sea: fragrant grilled nem, crunchy jellyfish noodles, and fresh bin bar lobsters. Nha Trang teaches us a lesson about harmony between the Champa past and the Vietnamese present, between the grandeur of the ocean and the enduring vitality of humans. Saying goodbye to concrete blocks, we drift to the Mekong Delta, where the mighty Mekong River, after a 4,000 km journey through 6 countries, chose to stop and transform into 9 dragons, Kulong, pouring into the Great Sea. Can Tho, the capital of the western region, welcomes us with the passionate breath of alluvium. At Kai Rang Floating Market, when the sun has not yet risen, the river surface is already bustling with the sound of engines and calls to each other. Here, the supermarket is on the water. Sellers don't need to cry out their wares. They use a bamboo pole called a kai bao, hanging the produce they sell on it, from pumpkins, sweet potatoes, to pineapples, mangoes. A primitive but effective advertising method that has existed for hundreds of years. The Mekong Delta is the rice bowl, the fruit bowl of the whole country. This abundance is a gift of nature, but also the result of people living with the floods. The people here do not fear the water, they follow the water to live. The floating season is not a natural disaster, but a season of fish and shrimp, a season of brilliant yellow river hemp flowers and purple water lilies. Culturally, this is the cradle of Don Katai Tu, Southern amateur music, a UNESCO intangible cultural heritage. In the middle of a moonlit night, the sound of the moon lute and the 2-stringed fiddle echoing with emotional, poignant vocals, telling of couples' love and patriotism, creating a simple yet profound artistic space. Mekong Delta cuisine is an explosion of bold flavors. Try the fermented fish hot pot lao man, cooked from lin fish, eaten with dozens of wild vegetables found only in the river region, or a bowl of nam vang noodle soup with sweet bone broth. The West teaches us a generous philosophy of life. Work for fun, eat for real, living carefree like rice plants and potatoes in the field. Leaving the blue sea, we go up to an altitude of 1,500 meters to come to Dalat, the city of thousands of flowers and fog. Dalat appears as an interesting paradox. A city with the soul of French architecture, but situated in the heart of the wild Central Highlands. Explored and proposed for construction by Dr. Alexandre Yersin in 1893, Dalat was initially a resort station for the French to escape the tropical heat. Therefore, this place possesses a huge architectural heritage with over 2,000 ancient villas, the oldest cog railway station in Indochina, and winding slopes shaded by old pine trees. The air here is thinner, colder, forcing people to live slower, to draw closer together, to find warmth. But Dalat does not only have the kin, or the French. This is the ancestral land of the Coho. The space of Gong culture in the Central Highlands, a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity, still echoes in campfire nights at the foot of Lang Biang Mountain. The sound of gongs is the connecting thread between humans and the gods, Yang, praying for favorable rain and wind. The fertile soil of Dalat also turns this place into the largest agricultural hub in the country. Vast tea hills in Kaudat, gardens of hydrangeas and velvety roses blooming all year round, and fragrant Arabica coffee plantations. Morning in Dalat, nothing is better than huddled in a sweater, drinking a glass of hot soy milk and eating a crispy grilled rice paper Vietnamese pizza by the charcoal stove. Dalat is a romantic low note, a shelter for dreamy souls. Our journey concludes at the southernmost tip of the fatherland, Phu Quoc, the Pearl Island located in the Gulf of Thailand. Phu Quoc is a land of extremes. This place was once a living hell with the Phu Quoc prison, where tens of thousands of revolutionary soldiers were imprisoned and tortured during the war. The barbed wire fences and tiger cages still remain as witnesses to a history soaked in blood and tears. But today, Phu Quoc has transformed into a world-class resort paradise. From the longest sea-crossing cable car in the world, we see the Sea of Phu Quoc change colour magically from emerald to deep blue. But the true treasure of the island is not just the scenery, but fish sauce. Traditional fish sauce barrel houses with hundreds of giant wooden barrels, fermenting fresh anchovies and sea salt for 12 straight months to distill the national soul and essence of Vietnamese cuisine. Phu Quoc fish sauce has the highest natural protein content, a cockroach wing colour, and a passionate aroma unmatched anywhere else. Beside that are the green pepper gardens, spicy with the taste of sun and island wind. When the sunset falls on Long Beach, Bai Trong, the sky is dyed a glorious deep purple. Squid fishing boats begin to light up, sparkling like a floating city on the sea. Phu Quoc is a perfect ending to the journey, where we wash away all the dust of the road to return to the pristine. Cuisine is never merely about eating. It is a silent dialogue between man and soil, a crystallization of history and the identity of a people who have existed for thousands of years alongside the rivers. Vietnam, an S-shaped strip of land stretching along the East Sea, lying entirely within the tropical monsoon belt. It is this specific sun, this wind, and this humidity that constructed a brilliant wet rice civilization. And from the rice grain, that heavenly pearl, a massive culinary ecosystem was born. Unlike the West, which views wheat as the foundation for bread, or nomadic tribes who see meat as their primary source of life, the Vietnamese revere the rice plant. Rice is the mother, it is stability. From the grain, we have bun, pho, ban quan, ban da, ban chung, a miraculous transformation of starch, creating a solid backbone for every meal. From the perspective of modern nutrition, this was a brilliant choice by our ancestors. Rice provides complex carbohydrates, is gluten-free, easily digestible, and perfectly suited to the Asian constitution. But if there were only rice, this culinary picture would be faded. What makes Vietnamese food truly great is the philosophy hidden deep within it: absolute balance. The Vietnamese do not eat just to fill their stomachs, they eat to heal. Long before the Western concept of nutrition science arrived, our forefathers possessed a much more sophisticated frame of reference: the theory of yin and yang and the 5 elements. In Vietnamese cuisine, every ingredient has its own nature. Yin belongs to water, cold, softness, and darkness. Yang belongs to fire, heat, hardness, and light. Deliciousness does not come from excessive seasoning, but from the harmony of these 2 poles. Look at a plate of duck meat. Duck lives in water, possessing a cold nature, yin. If eaten alone, it easily causes a cold stomach or indigestion. Therefore, the Vietnamese must eat duck with ginger. Ginger is spicy and hot, possessing a warm nature, yang. When yin and yang meet, they neutralize each other's toxicity and elevate the flavor to its peak. This is not random. This is the science of experience. The same applies to Trung Viet Long, balut. This protein-rich dish carries an extremely strong yin nature. It must be eaten with Vietnamese coriander, rau ram, and ginger, elements of yang, to restore balance, preventing the body from getting cold and aiding digestion. Under the lens of modern science, this principle aligns perfectly with biochemical reactions. Ginger contains gingerol and shogal, which stimulate intestinal motility and digestive enzymes, helping to break down the duck protein faster. This folk combination is the premise of food synergy, a concept that modern nutritionists are now pursuing. Not stopping at yin and yang, Vietnamese cuisine reaches for the harmony of the 5 elements. A delicious dish must converge 5 flavors: sour, wood; spicy, metal; salty, water; sweet, earth; and bitter, fire. These 5 flavors simultaneously stimulate the 5 senses, and more importantly, they correspond to the 5 internal organs: liver, lungs, kidneys, spleen, and heart. The Vietnamese dipping sauce is the most typical example of this miniature universe. The balance between the saltiness of fish sauce, the sweetness of sugar, the sourness of lime, and the heat of chili creates a whole where no single flavor overpowers another. It is the philosophy of the middle way, harmonious and non-extreme, of the Vietnamese people. If rice is the body, then fish sauce is the very soul of Vietnamese cuisine. Without fish sauce, Vietnamese food loses its identity. Unlike the soy sauce of the Chinese or Japanese made from fermented soybeans, fish sauce is the crystallization of the ocean. This is a miraculous natural protein hydrolysis process. Under the action of enzymes found in the fish gut and salt-tolerant anaerobic bacteria, the fish meat gradually dissolves, transforming from raw, hard-to-absorb protein into free amino acids. Modern nutritional studies have shown that traditional fish sauce is an incredibly valuable source of essential amino acids, especially lysine, a substance the human body cannot synthesize on its own, which aids in height growth and calcium absorption. But the greatest miracle lies in the umami taste. Before the Japanese defined this taste in the 20th century, the Vietnamese had been enjoying it for thousands of years through fish sauce. Natural glutamate generated during fermentation creates a deep, savory sweetness, known as the lingering sweet aftertaste. It awakens every taste bud, making even a simple dish of boiled vegetables rich in flavor. A bowl of white rice, drizzled with a few drops of pure fish sauce and a bit of pork fat. That is a memory, the taste of poverty, yet full of love during the nation's years of hardship. If Western cuisine views vegetables as a side dish, and Chinese cuisine often cooks vegetables over high heat, Vietnamese cuisine honors fresh vegetables and herbs as a primary component. We are one of the cuisines that consumes the most fresh greens in the world. The Vietnamese do not eat vegetables monotonously. We have an entire medicinal garden on the dining table. Perilla, lemon balm, dill, sawtooth coriander, Vietnamese coriander, they are not just garnishes, they are essential vegetables. Nutritionally, the habit of eating raw greens is an absolute advantage. Without heat processing, water-soluble vitamins like vitamin C and B, as well as plant enzymes, are preserved intact, especially the antioxidants and natural essential oils. Perilla helps relieve colds, lemon balm is antibacterial, fish mint cools the body, dill eliminates fishy odors. Each type of herb is a natural remedy. The structure of a modern Vietnamese meal is considered very healthy due to the high ratio of greens. In a fresh spring roll, vegetables often account for 50 to 60%, while starch and protein make up the rest. The fiber from vegetables creates a natural filter in the gut, slowing down sugar absorption into the blood, helping to prevent diabetes and obesity, the diseases of the industrial age. The freshness of raw vegetables, combined with the savory dipping sauce, creates a sense of than, purity and lightness, a rare quality that heavy, oily or dairy-rich cuisines struggle to achieve. Although sharing the same yin-yang philosophy, stretching over 1,650 kilometers, Vietnamese cuisine diverges into three distinct personalities, like three siblings in one family. The North, the cradle of a thousand-year-old civilization. Northern cuisine is sophisticated in its simplicity, subtle and delicate. Northerners prefer the original taste of ingredients. The broth must be clear, its sweetness coming from simmered bones rather than an abuse of sugar or strong spices. A standard bowl of Hanoi beef pho is the tranquility of taste, gentle yet profound. The Central, a narrow strip of land scorched by sun and soaked by rain. The harsh nature has forged a resilient character and a strong palate. Central cuisine, typified by hue, is an intersection between elaborate royal style and spicy rustic fare. The heat of central Chile is not just to stimulate the taste buds, but according to yin-yang theory, it helps people resist the cold and dampness of the rainy season. The South, a new, fertile, and generous land. Favored by nature, Southern cuisine is liberal, wild, and diverse. Influenced by Khmer and Chinese cultures, Southern dishes often feature the sweetness of palm sugar and the creaminess of coconut milk. They utilize everything nature offers, from sesbania flowers and water lilies to field mice and snakehead fish. If Chinese cuisine is the master of fire, using blazing woks to stir-fry rapidly, then the Vietnamese are the artists of water. Boiling, steaming, braising, making soup. Most daily Vietnamese dishes use water as the medium for heat transfer. From a nutritional perspective, this is a conservative but incredibly wise choice. The boiling point of water never exceeds 100 degrees Celsius. At this temperature, protein structure changes slowly, and vitamins are less likely to decompose compared to the high heat of oil. We rarely see reactions that create trans fats or carcinogenic compounds like acrylamide, often found in burnt grilled foods or deep-fried dishes. But the pinnacle of Vietnamese fire technique must be the co, braising. Braised fish in a clay pot, kako to, is a classic example of patience. The Vietnamese chef uses the caramelization of sugar to create color and a slight bitterness, yang, balancing the fishy smell, yin. The clay pot, representing the earth element, retains heat extremely well, allowing the dish to cook by simmering heat rather than thermal shock. The result is fish meat that is firm, yet bones that are soft. A dish that is savory enough to go with rice, rich in calcium from the bones, yet not greasy. That is the sophistication of the poor, turning the most rustic ingredients into a delicacy through time and fire. When mentioning Vietnam, the world names pho and banh mi. But behind that fame is a story of historical intersection and nutritional balance. Pho, a gift of cultural fusion in the early 20th century. Beef bone stock techniques learned from the French, combined with Vietnamese rice noodles and Chinese toasted herbs. A standard bowl of pho is a nutritionally complete meal. The broth provides collagen and glucosamine, good for joints. The noodles provide energy. The beef brings abundant protein and iron. The herbs and spices provide vitamin C and fiber, while helping to alkalize the acidity of the meat. The secret of pho lies in the word than, clarity. The broth must be clear and deeply sweet, but never cloudy with grease. To achieve that, the cook must constantly skim the foam and watch the fire, a meditative process by the stove. If pho is sophistication, then banh mi is a symphony of textures. The French baguette is dense with a thick crust. When it came to Vietnam, it was modified. Rice flour was added to make the crust crispier and the inside area, area, to make room for the filling. This is the absolute balance between extremes, hot and cold, crispy and soft, richness and acidity. The pickles in banh mi are not just to prevent greasiness. Nutritionally, they are a source of probiotics from fermentation, aiding in the digestion of the starch and fat of the sandwich. Once again, the Vietnamese unconsciously apply science to street food. The West eats by portion, emphasizing individuality. The Vietnamese eat by the tray, mam, emphasizing community. The round tray symbolizes the sky, completeness, with no beginning and no end. On that tray, everyone is equal, yet full of order and respect. Watch the pot when eating, watch the direction when sitting. Chopsticks, an extension of the Vietnamese arm, are not just tools for picking up food, they are instruments of affection. Before eating, one aligns the chopsticks so they are even. While eating, the best piece is not for oneself, but picked for the elders, for the children, for the guests. The act of picking food for one another contains a deep philosophy of sharing. Bacteria, Modern hygiene science might hesitate, but for the Vietnamese, it is the transmission of love. Vietnamese cuisine is not just food, it is philosophy in a bowl, it is medicine in the spices, it is love in a pair of chopsticks. Travel far to return. Eat delicacies only to deeply miss a bowl of crab soup with pickled eggplants. Because in that bowl of soup, there is the shadow of mother, the flavor of the soil, and the soul of a peace-loving nation. Eat like the Vietnamese, eat with all five senses, eat in mindfulness, and eat to balance yourself amidst this vast universe. Vietnam is not the largest country, but it is a country with the profound depth of cultural layers. From the sharp cat-ear mountain peaks in the north, to the rivers heavy with red silt in the south. From the mossy silence of the ancient capital to the hustle and bustle of mega-cities. All create a multifaceted, colourful picture. But what remains deepest after this journey? It is not just the scenery, but the people. It is the resilience of a nation that has risen from the ashes of 1,000 years of war. It is the optimism in the smiles of the most ordinary labourers. And it is the warm hospitality flowing in the veins of every Vietnamese person. Vietnam does not try to be a copy of anywhere else. It tells its own story. The story of bamboo and rice, of land and water. You come here not just to look, but to feel the beat of a vigorous Asian heart. The journey of 1,750 kilometers along the length of the country has closed this script page, but the true stories are still waiting for you to write them yourself with your own feet and heart. Welcome to Vietnam.